It's your girl Nisi here, and today we're going to talk about the time I got my heart broken. Yes, I know, getting your heart broken is never fun, but it's a fact of life. I mean, if it's meant to end, then it will end. So to protect the guy we're going to talk about today, we're going to change his name to Jackson. Basically, Jackson and I went to the same school together. I was in the 10th grade and he was in the 8th grade. And even though he was significantly younger than I was, he had this kind of special charm and wit about him that made all the girls crazy. And he was talented. He played the guitar, he sang, he acted, and he was so funny. On your worst day, he can make you smile and feel happy and forget about all of your problems. And these were all things that drew me to him before I even had a conversation. It's just I heard about him through the grapevine at school. So my school in that year decided to have a play, Grease, and I was casted as Frenchie and he was Kaniki. And that's really how we got to talking. And then as time went by, it just so happened that he liked me too. So we started dating and it was amazing. Every day I would come to school with a smile on my face. He was an utter gentleman. He'd meet me at the front of the school. If it was cold, he would give me his jacket. If he was eating something, he would give me some of it. He'd always want to hold my hand and walk around campus as if he was so proud to have me as his girlfriend. And that was something I didn't really have before. I never really had such a prideful boyfriend. All of my other boyfriends before him, in a way, kind of wanted to keep the relationship on the down low. Not because they were ashamed of me, but because they didn't want their parents finding out about us, per se. And things were going pretty great for me, or so I thought. Even though we were spending time constantly together and we were always having a great time, we were joining the volleyball club and playing together, and we would be singing together. On my birthday, I went to his house and he suddenly was different. It was actually my best friend and I, Elsha. We went to his house to surprise him. Even though it was my birthday, we went there to surprise him. And he suddenly was standoffish, as if something had changed. But I brushed it off as maybe he had a bad day, or maybe he just got a really bad grade and he just really wasn't in the mood. Plus he wasn't even one to really like surprises. So I just brushed it off. About 4 days later, on the day of my national debates and speech competition, he meets me at the front as usual and he says the dreaded words, "Nisi, we need to talk." In that moment, my heart sank to the floor because I knew it was going to be something serious, but never in a million years did I think that he would want to break up. We walked to the Fine Arts building and we're standing outside, and I'm like, "No, let's go inside and talk." He's like, "No, I don't want to go inside." Looking back now, I can see that he didn't want to go inside because my best friend was inside, and he knew if she even thought he was going to break up with me, she would have flipped out on him. So we're standing outside, it's cold. I don't have a sweater because he always gave me his jacket, but this time he's wearing his jacket. His face is grim. I can see the look in his eyes. I'm preparing for him to tell me something like, "Oh, someone in my family just died," or "Oh, we need to cut back on spending time together because my grades are suffering." But then, out of the complete blue, he says, "I think we should break up. I'm just not feeling it anymore." My brain stopped working. I didn't have anything I needed to say. I couldn't even produce tears. I was just in utter shock that on the day of my national debate competition, he would break up with me, when the day before, the last thing he said to me was, "Bye, Nisia. I love you so much." When I finally could have found the words, I just mumbled out, "What?" Because I just didn't get it. I just understand. How do you go from feeling it one day to not feeling it the other day? I just didn't understand any of that. And he just only could have said, I'm just not feeling it anymore. No explanation, no nothing. I asked him if there was someone else. He said no, he just wasn't feeling it anymore. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not feeling it anymore? Just yesterday you were telling me that you love me, and now you're like, sorry, I don't love you anymore. I didn't even stay to finish and hear him out. I ran inside the building and I just went straight to my best friend Elsha and I cried. She was like, what's wrong, what's wrong? And all I could say is, James broke up with me. Oh my God. 2 seconds later, she was outside and I could hear her voice from inside, and she was just flipping this boy off to the max, okay? I'm pretty sure he shedded more tears than I did. But what comes next is really what is tragic about this whole heartbreak story. You see, in that very moment I was sad, but it wasn't until I got home that I was devastated. Not only was I too shooken up by the entire ordeal to do well at my debate and consequently lost, but when I went home, I didn't even have my boyfriend to talk to about with it. And that really left me devastated, because for the past 3 months, every day after school, I had someone to talk to. And now suddenly, that person was out of my life and gone. And I just didn't know how to cope. Earlier that day, I texted my sister and told her about the whole situation. And when I came home, she hugged me and she had boxes of pizza waiting for me and some soda and some magazines. And she just left me alone in my room and I cried the entire night. Thank God I have really great friends who comforted me, but not even their comfort could have stopped the downward spiral that I was about to embark on. With each day, my depression grew deeper and deeper, and before I knew it, I was skipping meals, I was cutting people off from my life, I stopped doing the things I love to do. I hadn't sang, I hadn't written, I hadn't spoken to anyone. I had basically built this dome of solitary around me because I just didn't want to be around anyone. And each day I just dug myself deeper and deeper and deeper until I didn't even know who I was anymore. The only thing I had felt for the past 3 weeks was just sadness, and no matter how much I wanted to not be sad, I just was. Eventually I got very sick because I wasn't eating at all and I wasn't getting enough nutrition, and I had to be rushed to the hospital one day. And that's when my mom found out that I was skipping meals because I was sad. She thought I was just eating less, but really the food that she gave me, I wasn't eating or touching on nothing. I was just giving it to the dog. So after that doctor visit, I figured that I needed to change my life. I need to get back on track. But turns out my depression wanted to say otherwise. It was very difficult to break the habits that I already formed, and I literally had to force myself to get back into eating. Even now, I still struggle sometimes when I'm sad with remembering to eat, remembering to keep myself fed, remembering that I need to love my body because this is the only one I've got. Him breaking my heart hurt me in ways that I never thought it would. It took me 2 years to get back into writing, and that is something that I find great joy in. And to have that taken away from me, it was almost as if my identity was stripped. And all of this just goes to say that sometimes we invest so much into others that really we forget who we are. In retrospect, I can see that young Anicia invested way too much into Jackson. way too much into Jackson, and I just completely forgot to care for myself and to love myself. And I want to tell all of you girls, whether you're young or whether you're old, always remember that you need to love you before you can love anyone else. Because people come and go, but you are stuck with your body forever. You are stuck with your mind forever. And love yourself. Accept yourself. This is the one life you got. Don't waste it. As you guys know, as you can see now, eventually, with lots of counseling from my friends and from my guidance counselor at school, I was able to recover from my depression and to overcome all of the other obstacles that were in my way. And yes, at the time it affected my academic performance, but I was able to graduate with honors, and I had an awesome senior year. And none of that would have been possible if I didn't make the decision that I need to love myself and choose myself. And that's it. That's the story of how I got my heart broken. I hope that maybe it can help any of you who are going through some kind of heartbreak, whether it's romantic in nature or whether you just broke things off with a really close friend or whether someone in your family just died. Remember that amidst all of your sadness, you need to remember that you need to love yourself and care for yourself, because no one else can do it for you. That's all. I love you guys. Remember, love will always set you free. Bye-bye. Hey, if you like the video, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. See you guys soon.